Also, continuous line portrait. Materials you need are white, paper, Sharpie, paint, and colored pencils. The first step is to take your Sharpie, not pencil, and with a continuous line is when you make a long line that appears to never end. So without taking your pencil or your Sharpie off your paper, you're going to draw a portrait. Now, a portrait is a photo or an artwork of somebody else. So I want you to think of a person or create one in your head and draw that portrait without taking your pen off of the paper. Now, if you accidentally take your pencil or your Sharpie off your paper, that's okay. Just start where you left off. So keep going. You're going to go around. Now, look, I went and retraced some things because that was the way I was going to get to the outside of the portrait. So I'm going to go around. And look, I retraced and I came back down so that I can start the next part, which is the shoulders and the neck. Come back up without taking my Sharpie off the page, and I'm doing the lips. So sometimes you're going to have to stop so that you can think of the next thing you're going to draw and how you're going to draw it. If you feel more comfortable doing pencil first, that's okay. But I wanted to challenge myself. And I kind of want to challenge you to go straight for Sharpie. Don't even try that pencil because then you have to commit to what you make. Which is kind of hard for some people, but that's what this whole point of a continuous line challenge is that you challenge yourself, you do something that you're not comfortable with. That's the only way we're going to grow or be better artists is when we challenge ourselves. So go ahead and try your best to do it without using pencil. Alright, now I'm adding my hair. Look, I'm trying to do some loop-de-loops and curls, which I absolutely love. Finish up your portrait using one long continuous line. Try not to take that pen or that Sharpie off of the paper. Now I want you to go ahead and make your lines thick, making sure to correct any mistakes that you may have made or maybe adding something extra to your portrait. So whatever you want to do, just go ahead and make sure those lines are thick and even. Now that I've made my lines thick, I'm going in and making sure I get rid of any pointy part. So wherever two lines touch, sometimes it makes a V, and we want to round it off to make it more like a U, so that it looks more connected and more interesting. Because Sharpie's permanent, I put a paper underneath my paper to protect the table from any Sharpie marks that I may have made unexpectedly. I also added a frame or an outline around the edge of the paper to make my drawing look more unified or more connected and collaborative. I've been really into contrast lately, where you have color versus black and white. So in my background, anything not occupied by my portrait, I made it some dotted lines or some dots to fill it in, and it's gonna make a real big difference when I'm finished and I'm complete and I see my artwork all done. So go ahead and make a design for your background using that Sharpie. Ooh, here comes my favorite part. So I'm putting water down first before I grab some paint to make my artwork or my painting look more watercolor-like. I'm here using tempera cakes, but if you have watercolor paint, it probably look very similar. So I'm going to make sure that I use many colors because Picasso was an artist who liked lots of colors, and it makes it look more abstract, which means it makes it look a little less realistic than I usually make things. This is the perfect time to get creative. If you were inspired by someone that you created your portrait about, maybe you think of colors that might describe that person, or colors that represent who they are. I used rainbow because whatever this person I created in my brain when I was developing my design was very colorful, very unique, very beautiful. So I made those bright, shining rainbow colors to represent the optimism that I feel in my life, and inspired by whoever this imaginary person I made. Try your best to stay in the lines, and maybe you could add some spicy painting where you make it darker around the outside than on the inside. When your painting is dry, go on in with some colored pencils and outline around each of the colors. I went in and I also added some black where I may have went out of the lines and kind of painted over the black. I'm also spicy coloring. Remember in some of my earlier videos I talked about spicy coloring where you do a dark outline around the outside. Go on in, it's going to make it look more polished. More polished means that it would look more finished or well done. When you're finished, make sure you hang it proudly somewhere in your beautiful home or give it to someone that you love. Thank you. If you love and like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. love this video, share with your friends, your family, anyone you know. Art with you.